close. I am surprised that it's in Special's favor, though, I must admit.
Yeah, well, it probably has to do with how INnoVation's been performing recently. We're not him quite yet. We're on Lightshade for game 1 of this best of 3. In the bottom right, playing now for Storm Gaming, he is SpeCial.
And spawning over in the top left-hand side, playing for Team Kaiser Gaming, it is INnoVation.
I feel like we're just calling out everyone this DreamHack. You know, first Twitch chat gets called out, and then you're calling out GSL interviewers?
Yeah, I mean, they probably were like, yeah, it's only in GSL you beat him, right? Everything else doesn't matter. But hey, that's a nice result. Heroine beating Clem to start off Group D. That is, I don't want to say it's super unexpected, because I do think Clem, like, Heroine has shown that he's more than capable of beating Clem, especially over the past few weeklies. But yeah, well played, Heroine. That's a nice start to the group for him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Clem has been winning a little bit more recently, but overall it was actually very close. So not a surprising result, but I think if Clem were to be knocked out, then it's going to add to the list of upsets that this DreamHack has already had. Even with this particular best of 3, even with Twitch chat pointing out SpeCial, the desk pointing out that SpeCial has a very good chance, still, most people would consider SpeCial winning this best of 3 to face Nice in the winner bracket side of things would be surprising. That would be alongside the upsets we've already seen.
So this game does start off with both these fellas going for a Barracks gas build. This has turned into the far more normal. It's pretty safe against everything. There are ways that Proxy T-Rex can catch you a little bit off guard. SpeCial was the one going for the scout, and by scouting his opponent, that kind of allows INnoVation to be like, aha, I don't think this is going to be anything too cheeky, because the only reason that guy would turn up so early is that he's going for a very, very similar build, or at least something involving expansion later on. And here he's just using the Reaper just to make sure, because he didn't scout, so just so you can add a few extra minerals there.
SpeCial has been quite amazing when it comes to these TVT builds. He's really been changing things up, doing some odd things, either cheesier, more aggressive things, or just stylistically with his composition has been different. So I do think that it's going to be on what is SpeCial doing, and INnoVation having to respond a little bit more. But INnoVation, despite the meme about his name, has actually sometimes innovated, guys. He actually has done some of the more unique TVTs as well. But the reason I'm bringing this up about SpeCial is that we do have an SCV that was moving rather oddly, and it did find its perfect place to finally place down that starport. So a bit of a proxy to start off on game 1.
They're both doing this very unusually, Zombie Grub. Like, SpeCial got for the one Reaper, he got the scout off, obviously. Then he realized he was safe, gets the reactor down, now he's going for the reacted Hellion, so most likely it's going to be a medevac drop. But INnoVation, he actually went one Reaper into one Marine, and then made a tech lab and getting a super fast Cyclone. This is the kind of build that I don't think SpeCial really wants to run into. He wants to run into a far more normal kind of situation, because if that medevac does end up flying into 2 Cyclones, that's it. Your drop is absolutely done.
That's exactly right. It's done. But I guess for SpeCial, he's hoping that even if it is 1 or 2, in this case 2 Cyclones, that they won't quite be in position. And this Reaper actually might guarantee that they're in position. Actually, the angling on this is a little bit odd.
Oh.
That is going to find it. Apparently, you can't tuck that starport in quite enough, even with the ramp having the angle. So the medevac gets scouted. The Cyclones can now go into that main base, and SpeCial, not bothering to pick up those Hellions, kind of even does like a check into the main. There's nothing there. The Cyclones have not quite been moved yet, and that there's many SCVs to kill in the natural anyways, which, by the way, already has 2 gases.
I love this from INnoVation, by the way. Oh, we're getting ready for a Hellion drop into the main, but INnoVation, he's not a... Well, he's a quick cookie. He should be able to react to this quite quickly. The Cyclones are between the bases, but the shot is pretty key. One SCV does fall so far. I love this, separating the lock-ons here, dealing with both at the same time, but these Hellions inevitably will get damage done.
It's going to be a few SCVs by the looks of things, 4 at the end of the day. So, I mean, not exactly what you would want from all of the Hellions, I guess, but at least the medevac survive. Maybe the auto can do some more damage. But I do want to talk about the double gas and the natural. INnoVation, actually the one going to be throwing out mech here, might not be what SpeCial's expecting.
Okay, I want to like really go into this. INnoVation, after he did lose to SpeCial in the GSL Super Tournament, Maru went up against SpeCial afterwards, and Maru went mech to play against SpeCial's mech, which was absolutely beautiful because he did it so damn well. This game, INnoVation seemingly taking a page out of Maru's book here. On the other side of things, though, that second starport going up for SpeCial, I thought that was going to be some kind of like two-base push with air control, that kind of thing going on. But the fact that the Cyclones went and kind of shut that down, I think SpeCial's plan's being a little thwarted here.
I think you're exactly right. That is something that he did versus Time in the TSL 7. And Time, actually, that was the victory for Time because he had 16 Marines and went across the map, but that's beside the point. SpeCial, you know, if his starport actually does get taken out, which looks like INnoVation's not going to commit to that once his unit's back at home, that would put a damper in his plans, but it doesn't actually get killed, so he can still do this push. He's going to have air domination in an early game TVT. You're talking about still kind of few units and very important units, so once you get the air domination, once you have the tank sieged, it's very difficult to dislodge.
I am a little bit scared for SpeCial, though, because normally you're running at a guy that's not producing 2 tanks at a time with this push, and he's already used a little bit of energy for that first turret and stuff. This could get crazy. Like, neither one of them has taken a third base, and it looks like neither one of them ever intends to either. And, INnoVation, in fact, he could be running into the wrong neck of the woods here.
I'm actually really surprised by the movement from both players. It's going to be INnoVation finding SpeCial's army. And it looks like the Ravens here actually both take out all of their energy. The Vikings of SpeCial land and are forced to retreat immediately as INnoVation takes quite the start to the fight. And now it's the opposite scenario where I was talking about SpeCial's push being difficult to dislodge. Now it's INnoVation's push and continued push, even with mech units, that is going to be so difficult to get off of SpeCial's back.
Oh, and that starport incorrectly rallied from the top. It's kind of in between the or rather INnoVation's armies in between that rally. This is going to be so difficult to break out of for SpeCial. And I mean, he is producing 3 Vikings at a time, sure, but look at that tank number. How many factories is INnoVation on, actually? Because he's only produced tanks, right? 2. So beautiful, beautiful usage of that fast 4 gas that you were talking about.
I mean, the problem for SpeCial is that one of his Viking reinforcements is coming in very awkwardly. So while he would eventually win out that air war, it's like only if he's able to save all these Vikings that are reinforcing. So this is a very scary situation because it's also about a mech player getting into a fantastic mid-game and having the benefit in the early game, which is always scary because that's, you know, it's more where the bio player would shine, which SpeCial is going to be going for. Obviously, he's still very insistent on the Viking and the tanks, and even adding in a Banshee, which I assume is going to go across the map and hope to bring some units back, but without Cloak, it can't really help out here, even if it did have Cloak as Ravens.
Oh, 1 tank does fall immediately. I think the Banshee also, given that SpeCial's vying for air control here, if he can win the air fight and take out that Cyclone, air superiority goes to him, but INnoVation, it looks like he's going to win the air fight over here too. 2 more Vikings will be reinforcing. Look at that tank line as well. He's just etching forward. I don't think SpeCial can do anything to break this.
No, I think this might be it. Even the last medevac drop just taken down before it can do anything. Perhaps he's waiting for the Banshee to see how much success it could find. And I guess it is going to find a Baron Mineral line, but no, actually Vikings are here. So with the Banshee going down, yeah, that might just be it. INnoVation takes game number 1, kind of, you know, anticipating SpeCial doing something a bit odd and then dealing with it, but also having his own build to mess it up.
I love the way that INnoVation played that, like getting the Reaper Marine, because if he senses that it's a 2-Rex or he scouts a 2-Rex, the Marine is the perfect answer to that. So skipping out the second Reaper, but then getting the Cyclone follow-up as well, like the 2 Cyclones, that just shut everything that SpeCial was doing down. So I love how they both reacted to one another doing what they did, and it was a very different TVT. Very often it's about 3 CCs and kind of working around that, but they were both so aggressive, and INnoVation got the turrets down way earlier, and SpeCial kind of had his army, like the Vikings and the Ravens were late to the fight on the right side. It was just very, very decisive play from the Korean. I
mean, I absolutely think that SpeCial was hoping to be more of the controller of that situation, and instead INnoVation was like, oh no, I can shake this fight pretty well. It obviously wasn't a fantastic start for SpeCial as his aggression didn't really work out, but the fact that it wasn't just INnoVation's scouting and response here, it was also the fact that his plan before this happened was that 4th geyser and that faster second factory. That was his build. That is something that we don't see too often. That's something that SpeCial's not going to see too often. So if SpeCial's like, I'm going to go in here and have builds that are supposed to go up against that 3CC thing, INnoVation's already put a stopper on that.
Yeah, this was a really chaotic game to get the series started. Because SpeCial, he went for the more, I want to say the orthodox approach with the whole scout thing. Then it's like, okay, I've got an SCV on the map, I'll utilize that. But INnoVation, I know that everybody's kind of like, well, he bombed out of GSL, right?
Yeah.
He is still INnoVation. Like, as far as most successful Terrans of all time, he's always going to be a name that's mentioned up there. And that game that he just showed us, that was a different build, a different way of going about things, and it worked out so damn well.
Yeah, I feel like I am the champion of INnoVation actually having the correct name, because people are always so quick to be like, INnoVation plays 3CC all the time, you guys. Like, it's not even innovative. And I'm like, I remember back in Montreal 2017, it was the double Banshee build that he made. Like, and sometimes it's not like an obvious innovation, I suppose, where it's like, oh yeah, double Banshee, that's pretty extreme. It's like little things as well. So I'm glad to see that it's definitely not just going to be SpeCial bringing out the special tactics, but INnoVation will be innovating
Actually,
as well.
You're cracking yourself up.
Oh my God, he's so good at this.
I do get what you mean, though. I used to hate when he was called a robot for doing, like, once he got to 3 bases, he'd push. I mean, that's the build. There isn't kind of like the next evolution from that. So his best chance was to keep on doing it. And people are like, oh, he's stuck in his robot ways. And so it's like, do you not know that that's his only chance of winning the game right now? So yeah, I was a bit like, I was on his side for a lot of those things, but I love the double Banshee build that he brought into it. I know it only lasted for a bit of time against the Zerg players, but that was so cool. And this game as well, this was, I mean, 2 factories. Normally, whenever I think of mech play, I'm always like, you need 3, right? Like 1 with the reactor all the time. But this was super clean play from him. I loved it.
Yeah. We're on to Romanticide for Game 2 in the bottom right. We'll see if this guy can bring it back. For Psystorm Gaming, he is SpeCial.
And playing over in the top left of Romanticide, it is INnoVation.
I remember he actually had a TVT 3 factory, like pretty much all in this matchup that I actually stole. Because, you know, you're always looking for TVT builds that are all about what you do to end the game quickly. Because it's kind of a difficult match to play. But it's amazing to watch, especially when you do have 2 guys who aren't just always going to go for immediate 3CC double Raven.
Yeah, also, it's got to be in both these players' mind that the winner goes on to play Nice for getting out of the group, and the loser goes on to play Rogue to make sure that you don't flop out of the group. And I mean, that's already thrown this group right on its head. The game does start off, though, with very identical builds, and yet again, the Barracks, Gas. For a while, it was the Gas, Barracks, Gas. This one just turns out a little bit, I want to call it a bit greedier, a bit quicker with the expansion. But it was like the King of Battles tournament that really brought this build out. I remember one guy doing it, and then everybody was like, holy crap, why didn't we think of this? This is way better in every possible way.
It's amazing how there's still like a lot of tiny things that can still be improved, and that's why, you know, also Brood War still has a lot of meta changes, and I mean, also that has to do with maps, I suppose. But yeah, people are just always figuring new things out. And of course, the kind of classic like run around the metas do, where something goes out of meta and then comes back in and it's good again. Some of these guys try to be on that forefront, you know? This tiny little thing, maybe not so much, but like when it comes to mech coming back in a swing, right? I feel like some people try to push it. Maybe it actually catches on, maybe it doesn't. That last game, I think, was just a real wrench in SpeCial's plans, and I think INnoVation was quite happy that that worked out. I
think SpeCial is maybe catching mosquitoes while he's playing. I just saw him like clapping in front of his monitor and stuff, which, yeah, that's got definitely some barracking going over on there. But CCs do start for both these players now. They did pull guys off Gas just to make sure you can get that CC up a little bit quicker. These are both really safe builds and very respectful builds too. After scouting the first game and seeing what went on, there are a lot of ways, because you might be like, can't you abuse this though by just getting an earlier expansion? One thing that this build allows you to do is make choices based on what you see. You can get the fast medevac, deal a lot of damage. Romanticide as well, we've got this huge open air space, or rather huge cliff space into the main where you can kind of dance around and stuff. It can get very, very wily very quickly.
We got a tech lab added on for INnoVation again, just right away. Cyclone's coming out for him already. You know, that mosquito thing is a real problem in Korea. And when I went to one of my Airbnbs there, they had like a tennis racket, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" And they're like, "It's a mosquito zapper," but it looks like a tennis racket. We need to get SpeCial one of those. If he wins this one, I'm gonna ship him one.
So when I'm looking at these builds, Zombie Grub, I'm like, SpeCial is doing the stuff that I've been doing, where I'm like, yeah, I think that's definitely how you play. Whereas INnoVation, going for these faster Cyclones, like he's done it, and yet again. In fact, what's his unit count at? 'Cause I'm very interested with how he's
2 Reapers, 1 Hellion,
so
and
not
1
too,
Cyclone.
yeah, not too super weird, but Yeah, I've always felt that that's risky, but he's just showcasing that, yeah, I'm not worried about anything. And he's going for that fast third and fourth gas. And yet again, this game is probably going to be a mech opener once again.
Yeah, I assume so. We're going to see the same exact push, but SpeCial not going to be proxying a starport and investing into Hellions. That just did not do a whole lot of damage than having the awkwardness that was the starport out in the map. Perhaps if that wasn't proxied, then he is able to calmly get to that air control because he had more Viking production. We won't know because he chose the proxy. In this game, SpeCial is going straight up to that third CC. And yeah, we actually might be seeing INnoVation be the one who pushes.
Yeah, I mean, that third CC is definitely early. Like, you definitely skip out on a couple of units, but it's only things like Marines, which, given how the games have gone, it's not... I like the choice, especially on Romanticide. It's a far easier map to defend, given that there's the two ramps at very different locations that you defend at. He's also gone for a ridiculously fast 4 gas. And we talked about it. This is definitely going to be a mech opening from INnoVation.
And then SpeCial might also be doing it, but then he's got that third CC, and we're going to see, I mean, I guess a classic example. Sometimes, you know, 2-base versus 3-base bio versus bio. We'll see the bio 2-base guy try and outmaneuver. It feels like there's going to be mech, where like 2-base mech has got to do some damage, but then saying that the 2-base guy has to outmaneuver when he's also a mech player, I mean, that's going to be kind of weird. Not to mention difficult on Romanticide, which does have all of the defensive properties that we can think of when it comes to a StarCraft game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's definitely going to be INnoVation doing pretty much exactly the same build again. It's SpeCial that's mixed it up this time. And he's trying to get information here. This Hellion obviously can sit at this third and be like, oh, you were trying to go for it on location here? Then my third's way faster than yours. But what has that money gone into? That you've obviously got more units than me, or some heavier tech units than me. I've got to be a little bit careful about what you're actually up to.
Yeah, SpeCial has absolutely zero scouting. He has no idea about the gas timings, the barracks count, the factory count. He sees that it's double Cyclone, double Raven on the front. But is that enough to actually confirm his suspicions? A little bit of a scuffle in the mid. I mean, SpeCial using some of his basic tier 1 units to at least buy some time. But yeah, it's about that push that we expect, the same one that happened last game, but SpeCial's defense will be very different.
This Raven being used to harass the economy, that's good, but I'm also like, I kind of want to see him use that energy back at home, because there's going to be a push coming. There has to be. And even though he gets 3 SCVs and a lot of loss of mining, I think INnoVation's looking at this and he's like, that's great. My push is just going to be way stronger now.
Yeah, I'm always concerned, especially if the Raven gets found, but I'm always concerned when the Raven uses its energy and then has to, of course, travel all the way home. This one not going to be going home. That leaves 2 still behind for SpeCial. They both scan each other. I mean, fairly similar compositions. Of course, 1 less tank for the Red Terran and less Cyclones, but the Cyclones find it difficult to actually be involved in tank wars. It's the Ravens that become really scary. SpeCial actually takes the engagement, throws down some auto turrets. We'll lose 1 Raven because of those Cyclones. And we'll lose his missile turret as well, actually.
Yeah, that was a really weird attack. I thought, that's a lot of energy to use. Maybe he just really wants to get air control right there and then, but he doesn't have it whatsoever, Zombie Grub. And losing that missile turret wasn't the biggest deal in the world, but it will be with this air control, because that army can just kind of run on top of him. And look how INnoVation's sneaking here with that bottom set of tanks. He's going to eliminate the gas, maybe get air control super hard here. And that amount of Ravens, I think he can just go for mass interference matrix on those tanks and really march over this army.
He might be agreeing here. There's the mass auto turrets going down. The tanks on siege and leap forward. The auto turrets are already taking down so many of the tanks, and INnoVation's tanks take down almost everything that SpeCial has. Third CC has to be lifted, and SpeCial is in a world of hurt.
This is the exact same thing from INnoVation, and yet again, look at this line of tanks. What does SpeCial do? I love the leapfrogging by both of them, just both respecting one another's power in these tanks, because one wrong move, and SpeCial is going to be out this game. Behind all this, by the way, INnoVation's on a third base. He's fully mining. He's doing this absolutely beautifully.
I mean, what can SpeCial do? He's going into a very similar composition, just now fully behind on the economy, on the units. He can't pick up in medevacs and try and outmaneuver this guy. He basically just has to hope that INnoVation makes a mistake, takes on more than he can chew. But so far, INnoVation is pretty much fine. He's got more Vikings reinforcing. Actually, they kind of reinforce at the same time, but there's still so many more tanks for INnoVation.
Yeah, I mean, INnoVation, he is truly respecting this. And this tank count, what is it at this point? I mean, 10 tanks versus 4. INnoVation is I think he's capable of almost running forward, but I love the fact that he's being patient about it. He doesn't need to deal damage. He's already dealt the damage he wanted.
SpeCial has managed to take his other third very, very quickly, so his economy's not too bad. It's the unit count on the front lines that is awfully worrying as INnoVation once again pushes the issue, tries to get ahead. He is starting to lose the air war just a little bit, and I love the repair from SpeCial as well. And with his third CC actually mining, although I guess the gases were a little bit later, SpeCial wasn't actually as down and out as it might have looked.
Also, INnoVation didn't have vision for one moment in time there. I don't know if he didn't have a scan. We have to mention, like, his 3 orbitals haven't been up for as long as they would have normally, but he is going to go back home. But SpeCial, that last moment there, definitely went in his favor. And despite him being the one under pressure, look at his worker count, Zombie Group. He's at 79 versus 70. It's incredible. Yeah,
that's also something I noticed. Is like actually he has more workers, and as long as they actually get to a mining, which they did swiftly, SpeCial's calm reaction is actually to be like highlighted here. As yeah, the other third can be a little bit risky, but it was absolutely the right thing to do. Now his fourth is going to be a little awkward, I guess, because it's in a more safe area. Do you turn that into a planetary or not? You might want to, because we're going to have some Blue Flame Hellions later on. But SpeCial survived and even starts taking a lead more on the SCVs again. But he's also taking a lead in the army supply just a little bit here and there.
Yeah, the one advantage that INnoVation has from this whole situation is you kind of put the fear into SpeCial, which you might be like, what does that mean, Ben? Like, SpeCial has to realize that INnoVation is going at him very, very hard with these tank armies now. I know he's got upgrades on the way. They don't mean all that much, especially mech versus mech. This is a nice move out by SpeCial, though. It does leave him vulnerable down the middle of the map, but mech isn't something that moves really quickly. So he knows that the counterattack potential is going to be much, much less likely.
SpeCial doesn't have as many factories. Not that you're really reinforcing mech that quickly. It is about getting to a great position and abusing it, which he doesn't really do here. But he is now up to 5 factories. Both of them have the same production capabilities. The upgrades are what's different, but yeah, I mean, as far as their importance to tank versus tank, I'm surprised to see the Cyclone upgrade on the way. Cyclones are almost always thought of as the beginning unit, maybe a mid-game back in a different meta. But to add it on here, I mean, is that just emergency anti-air we're talking about?
It's a lot about map control. Like,
yeah.
if it starts getting into these squads of Hellions that are maneuvering about, having 1 or 2 Cyclones in the mix, or even a bunch, it's really good. And then catching some Vikings or tank astray, it can be very nice. And look, this is cute by SpeCial, getting some depots placed kind of aggressively. I don't know if that was like a miss rally and then he's just going to go for it, but oh, this is a bit of a spicy fight to go on. SpeCial needs to get out of there right now.
Yeah, he was already down in Vikings. Missile turret once again gets taken down, so can't support. He manages to land 3 of his own, but that is once again a scary position to be in. As his armories are finally finishing, INnoVation starts his 2-2, and once again seems to be pushing convincingly into this 4th location now.
I'm a little bit worried because SpeCial, he has those 2 tanks that are propped a bit forward compared to everything else, but oh, this is already cracking up to be a real cracker of a game. 3 4s on the way as well. That really shows that SpeCial feels that getting that air control back is going to be ridiculously difficult. That is a huge squad of Hellions, by the way.
Yes, indeed. Actually going to take on the tank as Hellbats and then chase after. Spartan Servos might have been really happy to have finished there instead of that Cyclone upgrade, but he still takes down a tank. He will interrupt, I suppose, INnoVation's attention, as actually INnoVation didn't even really pull the STVs. He just lets another tank get barbecued.
A little surprised by that interaction. 10 SCVs do go down for SpeCial's troubles, which definitely isn't bad, but damage is being done on both sides. The supplies are a little bit deceiving. SpeCial way ahead economically with the SCVs, but INnoVation's actually ahead overall.
We have 2 barracks on the way.
So he definitely lost 1, so he couldn't make orbitals.
Oh yeah, he just actually made a 2nd one.
I think so, I think so. Oh, the land? What?
Okay.
Jitters bit. That was jitters.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. All right, well, 150 minerals isn't the worst thing to lose out here, as they both are expanding quite a bit. So even as SpeCial loses control again of this area, he at least has another army and another base on the right side. Speaking of which, we got ourselves a little scuffle. INnoVation sieges up first. And it is going to be something that INnoVation is going to be, at least keep that ranged, keep that choke. Hellions, though, hitting SpeCial's 3rd base. They're going to kill a lot of SCVs, and he was forced to give up this orbital once again.
Oh, this is beautiful play by both of them. Chaos going on everywhere with these mech units. The Vikings Is this the cinematic over here? They're dealing with the tanks, but that whole mineral line, it just got barbecued over there. 28 SCVs going down for SpeCial.
Yeah, no blue flame necessary. 28 SCVs are lost, but SpeCial still on 65. It's about the, I guess, the loss of just straight up mining, with his third now being denied and his fourth as well. SpeCial, I mean, they're both at still a similar supply, that is similar banks, so it's not the end of the world, but he does need to get something in return for all of this.
Yeah, I mean, SpeCial, look at his attacks. Every time he's gone to the top of the map, he's just been absolutely thwarted, so he's had to go back home with his tail in between his legs. And here, INnoVation just has such a claustrophobic hold, and this is not what you want to be doing, SpeCial. I know you are going to clean this up, but that's a lot of loss there, especially with the 4 going down.
Yeah, unfortunately, those tanks were in a line. If there was like a bit of a concave, I can see how that would have worked out a bit better. So SpeCial still holding on to a decent supply. With all the economy that he lost, he's finding it more difficult to actually get maxed out. He can't start all of his upgrades either, as INnoVation adds on 3-3 and smart servos. His blue flame is done. SCVs beware. INnoVation does overall have a handle on this game, but SpeCial, perhaps one good engagement could turn things around.
Absolutely. I mean, we look at the supplies. They're very, very close. INnoVation definitely has the lead on a lot of fronts here, but he's also the one being aggressive, which is where mistakes can absolutely start happening. Holy crap, the amount of tanks on this screen.
That's a lot. That's a lot. INnoVation has 16 total, and they seem to almost all be over here. SpeCial's going to try and go for a little bit of his run by, but tanks are sieged up back at home. That's not going to find any success. SpeCial, I mean, with the main and natural starting to mine out, it's his fourth base and his third. His third also is mining out. He is desperate for a good fight. Does he actually have any ability to take one, though? He's losing out in the air control. He's losing out in the tank count. What is SpeCial going to do?
Oh, great focus fire by SpeCial on each of the Liberators there, but this is still a horrible situation. One thing I'm kind of scared for with SpeCial as well, these Vikings do have the ability to drop in the bait. That is a beautiful counterattack, though.
Yeah, finally the Hellions again finding a vulnerable area, one tank, and then a lot of vulnerable SCVs. Does INnoVation care as much? I mean, perhaps he's maxed out. They both maxed out. Again, SpeCial managing to find somehow a better economy despite the loss of orbitals here. But INnoVation has the stranglehold that is a lot scarier than what SpeCial is doing with his main army.
INnoVation's doing this so Brood War-esque, right? These little tiptoes forward with the units and what have you. It's just great to see. And SpeCial, he's got so much of his army in the middle of the map. I think that's because he's constantly scared about this middle path, because INnoVation's just aggressive everywhere.
I mean, SpeCial might have also hoped to find INnoVation a little weak back at home, miss-splitting his army, committing too much to an attack, but so far INnoVation has been kind of matching it. Now SpeCial hopes to bring his entire army back to clean up this stranglehold, and it looks like it will be a cleanup, but I guess the typical cliche, at what cost? Tanks from INnoVation go through a choke and aren't sieged up, and this actually could be held as well. Main base, however, Vikings go ahead and land. They weren't involved in the main fight, but they are going to help take out a lot of production.
Yeah, I mean, this is really hard to hold for SpeCial. He is feeling the pressure here. INnoVation's just getting a tighter and tighter clasp on him, and he calls out of the game. INnoVation moves on to the winner bracket match.
2-0 from INnoVation. I guess really putting the doubters in their place. Like, yeah, I might not have done so hot in GSL, but I am going